right. Well, today we have a very special guest. I'm excited. We're talking with actor, storyteller Jeremy Piven. Man, those are words I was not expecting to say a few days ago. But we're talking about this great film, The Performance. Shout out to Go To Films for this, directed by Shira Piven, his sister, produced by so many great people. Such a cool film. I had a chance to watch this a while ago, and now I see you're doing some interviews for it. So I was like, I would love to reach out and discuss this and just a cool career you've had. Jeremy, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So, how is this? This is such a huge deal. I mean, you've been promoting this, it's been in some festivals, and it's really starting to garner a lot of attention. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been an incredible journey. It's a 15-year journey. So for all of you guys watching out there, all 11 of you, I will say I will say never give up. Never
Yeah.
give up, man, because here we are.
You've said this a lot in interviews, even with other projects that you've been in, like features or television. Like it's been a long process for you. Like you fight hard for every single thing that you do. Like an overnight success that's taken 20 plus years, including this
20.
film, or 30. How long
Let
have
me
you
get
been at? Okay.
well, no, let me give you a little perspective. And this is not me grandstanding or berating you or
Not at
anything.
all.
Just I'm just giving you numbers so you can understand the scope of my life and how it may, pertain to yours or anyone's. I started acting at 8 years old at the Piven Theater. I broke through at 40 years old. I won the Fresh Face of the Year award at 40. So 32 years acting before I was an overnight success. This film has taken me 15 years, and whatever I said before, nothing compares to this film in terms of, listen, don't take my word for it. We've had some very, really shockingly beautiful notices from the varieties of the world, the Pete Hammonds of the world, the Feinbergs of the world, saying this is a career defining performance. And sometimes it takes over a half a century of life to find that performance. And by the way, no one would ever cast me in this role. I would never get cast as the lead, a tap dancer in a period piece feature film. And that's why one of the many reasons I made it myself.
Really? So I'm interested to follow up on that. I've heard you say that before with different things.
Mm.
Is it just because of past projects that you've done and people see you a certain way? I think people would find that interesting because I don't know. I mean, I look at you and what I consider to have, I've had a very successful career, like, but that's not how Hollywood works necessarily, huh? At all.
No, not at all. It's interesting. I've been lucky enough to, I've been touring the country doing stand up,
Yeah,
and I love doing it. And when you go out there and people are it's just so great to be in the same room, same theater as people and make them laugh. And so when you go out there and you're amongst real people, civilians, my favorite kind of people, not influencers, Instagram famous situations
right.
or in the Hollywood bubble. And these people I've been connecting with them through films and Entourage and Rush Hour and Serendipity and Black Hawk Down and blah blah. So me playing this character would make sense for the people we make it for.
Right.
Um, for Hollywood, it's like, sometimes they can get a little distracted by, who's doing it now with a reach. Have you done this before? How do we know you? How do we categorize you? Stuff that I don't care to even think about because the reality is I am completely and utterly delusional and it's a superpower. And so, my parents instilled that in me as my acting teachers from a very young age, that I'm going back to Chicago. You're the first person that knows this. The performance will premiere at the AMC River East in Chicago on December 13th.
So in just like 8, 9 days.
Let's get on a plane. I'll meet you in Chicago. Let's
I would
go.
love that. My son is with his mom that week. That's
No, I
um
wasn't asking you. I was asking
oh,
everyone
okay,
listening.
okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
There's an Ari Gold moment right there. I knew it was coming. Um so you've taken it to festivals. This
Yeah.
is crazy. Um I love your stand up, by the way. I saw you in San Jose. I'm in
Oh, wow.
Colorado now, but I saw you in San Jose a couple years ago. You were at the Improv, and you said something just a minute ago. I came to see you because I knew you did stand up. You've done the roast battles, so I know your comedy background, but I also know you from film too and the projects that you mentioned. Um, I am curious though, when people come see you do stand up, do they realize that you do stand up or do
No,
they don't? Okay. I've
not
heard
really.
that from others before too.
Yeah. Um, I haven't put out my special yet, and I have an hour that I'm very proud of, and I can't wait to put it out there. But yeah, people for the most part, bless them. They know me as a comedic actor, and now in the performance, a dramatic actor. And to be honest with you, man, outside of Robin Williams, you can't really name a lot of prolific actors that have transitioned into stand-up.
Yeah.
And to go from 80 movies into stand up um, was really fun and challenging and terrifying and rewarding. And so when they come, they don't know I can do it. And people come up to me afterwards and they say to me, I didn't know you were this funny, which is one of those backhanded compliments, you
Yeah,
know?
it's like, oh, you're very funny. Like, duh. I know this is why I'm doing this.
Well, what they mean by that, and I love that is, and it's very confirming, is that listen, I've been trying to get my own comedy and sensibilities into stuff for years. And there's sometimes, like when I work with my buddies from Chicago and I do like a Gross Point Blank or, one of these movies and or even Rush Hour, and I can just start improvising. And so I've been writing on my feet, and I'm from Chicago, Second City Improv Group, and blah, blah, blah. So I've been doing this for years. And yet, stand up is all you. So now I'm telling stories about the set, doing impressions and having fun. And so it's very confirming that, hey man, we didn't know who you are. Now we do, and we had a great time. So that's fun.
Yeah, there was a clip I saw. I don't know if it was on Instagram or TikTok, but you were doing a bit about The Rock. I think it was The Rock and his training, and then you are yelling without the microphone, and everybody's like,
Well,
this is my training."
it's funny that came about in a very organic way where I was just saying, you guys, I'm performing down the street, at the Laugh Factory. And I said, you guys, Hollywood's a crazy place. The number one actor is The Rock. He's the highest paid actor, and he's never taken an acting class. So it's awkward. I've been on stage and my mic broke at that moment. And I just filled the space with my voice and I said, "Can you guys hear me in the back?" Yeah. You want to know why? Because I took an acting class. And so it like, you know what I mean? So it all the stuff happens organically and it's just been really fun. Listen, The Rock is one of these guys that is wildly successful and they need to study his DNA.
That's funny. Um, so with this film, the performance, obviously it's your family, you're working together on this. Um, what is the next? So now you're screening it and it's getting this attention. Is a tongue-in-cheek question, but are you taking it to other festivals like, no pun intended here, Sundance, things like that, places where it can be seen more and get
Well,
the Oscar buzz for
yeah,
it?
to be honest with you, as of we're that process, we opened at the Rome Film Festival, got brilliant reviews. At least I think they were brilliant. They were all in Italian. so I don't know, but they sounded brilliant. Now we had a 12-minute standing ovation
Wow.
and in Italy. Listen, we've this has been a 15-year journey, and I'm so proud. This is the first time I'm saying this. We're going to be in theaters finally after 15 years, but appropriately enough in Chicago, in my
Yeah,
hometown, in my neighborhood, AMC, River East, the 13th of December in a week. And I'm going to be there with my sister Shira, and we're going to be doing Q&As and hugging. We're going to be hugging it out, bitches.
there we go. Ironically, there is a film I wanted to ask you about that I know of, but I didn't see it in your IMDb or your, I don't know, those things aren't always often accurate. But PCU, I want to ask you about that. Is that one that was that a start for you, or was that like a later on type of film? It's an older one for sure, a throwback.
Yeah, that was way ahead of its time, obviously. It was about a wildly politically correct college, and the basis of that was Wesleyan, where Zach Penn went to school, and it was way ahead of its time. I
Yeah.
played like a 8-year senior, you know,
Yes.
draws, and he was still in school. Um, and I was, probably 30 years old myself when I was playing. But so yeah, it was really ahead of its time, and people love that film. It's hard to find.
It's very hard to
Um,
find.
Very hard to find. Listen, to go back to what you said about I never eh, I come from the theater, and my father is an actor, director, teacher who passed away, and my mother is an artist as well, director, teacher, and an actress, and we're really grateful to be able to perform. So there's
Yeah,
never a moment where we don't, honor the space that we're occupying when we're performing. So we put everything we have into it. So when you go see movies like The Goods or any of these films that maybe weren't huge hits, you know, um, I'm giving it everything I got, and people, they have legs. And
they do.
it's funny when I was I produced the performance,
Yeah.
and there was a moment where we ran out of money, and I had to go find us money in real time. And I was talking to this guy, and I went, "Do you know that I've made these movies and I've never made a movie that lost money?" And he's like, "How is that possible?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like, I've been incredibly blessed in the way that, now listen, they haven't made $6.4 trillion, but these aren't films that tanked. They were
Right.
films that have a life, and they continue on. They're talked about, and so it's been an honor because I also have to really connect with the film to do it. You know?
So at this point, that brings up my next question. Like, you know, the this film obviously is a very big passion project for you.
Yeah.
Um, Again, having taken so long to get where it is, and to get it into theaters. I think that's part of the reason, or part of the thing that most people don't think about is they see a show that you're in and or a film and they watch it, like all these wonderful ones that you've mentioned. They don't think about the blood, sweat, and tears necessarily that go into getting it to where it's at, not necessarily having studio support. So for now, like outside of this, when you get asked to do something, what is it you're looking at, Jeremy? Are you looking at writing? Are you looking at who you're working with? Where
So
it's
what?
a mix of things.
Believe it or not, from this film, I've never received feedback like this in my life. From people and critics who've been doing it their whole lives, and a critic, and I can't tell you who it was. Um, if this was on stage, I'd be like, a critic, I can't tell you who it was. Gene Siskel. No. um, uh, she said to me, this changes everything. And I
Wow.
was like, wow. She goes, yeah. And now, are you going to be always looking for films that you connect with on a very deep level, like the performance? And I don't really get ahead of myself for some reason, and I probably should. Um, but after doing a project that I believed in so much, that I'm so connected with, that is based in our history,
Yeah.
1937, just before the Holocaust, I'm a Jewish tap dancer that hides his identity for momentum in his career, dances for the Fuhrer, and the stakes couldn't be any higher. And it's coming to terms with who you are in this life and how much of yourself will you compromise for success. And it's so heavy, and it's the best work of my life. And so now, am I going to, run out to do Dancing with the Stars? Actually, that's not a bad idea.
That's a good idea. You heard it here first. That's funny.
Like Chappelle says, if my hands are on my hips and I'm doing the cha-cha, I gave up.
That's
No, I'm
funny.
not. I'm not going to give up. But no,
That was a very good impression, by the
oh,
way.
thanks, man. Yeah, man. I am lucky enough to have pulled off a miracle, with my family, with my sister, and my mom gave it to me, and my father. So, you know, to go backwards feels wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for things that I really connect with in this life, and that, and then if that that's all I need. I'm lucky enough to do stand up and make a living and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to be out there, taking jobs for money. It's love of the game.
Yeah. Well, very well deserved, man. Like for real. Um, and again, just having I'm 50 and I've watched your films and television. I mean, just obviously Entourage. Can you spot an Entourage fan anywhere a mile away, pretty much? Yeah, they know.
Bro, I'm a douchebag because of you, bro. Ah,
That's funny.
call my wife a rusty cunt bucket. Can you do that? No,
Oh
bro.
gosh, I'm sure you hear that a lot, maybe
Bro,
in your
we're
stand-up.
we're in front of a Cinnabon, sir. We
That's
we
funny.
I can't do that now, sir.
It's
Sorry
funny you
to
say
sorry
that.
to swear on your.
You're fine.
Okay.
Lisa Lampanelli said that she does things and occasionally will make appearances now, and she will ask her to roast their husbands or whomever. So
Well, no, I understand that with her, and forgive me, but that comes from her stand up.
yeah,
And so that makes sense. That's her and that's her
but
sensibilities.
that's
And
a character you're playing though, so it's kind of like
I
people
that was a
mix it up.
fiction that was a fictional character that they believe is real. So it's you're talking about two different things, but I appreciate the Lisa Lampanelli reference.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're fair point. It's funny. My son has never seen Entourage, but I will yell in Ari voice, Jared, like if I'm on the phone and he doesn't get it, but I get it. And I think it's funny. Uh, this is very cool. Well, this film is fantastic.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this. And any plans to come to Denver anytime soon for stand up or it
I
just
love Denver. I love Denver, man. I really do. I'm trying to get back there. What is your great? You've got Comedy Works, right? Is that what it's
Comedy
called?
Works is the big one, East and West. Yeah, it's the Kingmaker Club that people just
Listen,
kill to get in.
I need to go to Comedy Works immediately. Let's go.
Yeah, am I invited to that show or
No, sir, you are not.
okay. Um, Very cool. Well, thank you, Jeremy. I
Thank you,
appreciate your
buddy.
time. Happy holidays and
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
Absolutely. You too.